absent. Jerry Ha,
Yes.
Sarah Stevenson. Here. David Blair,
Here.
Nick Lucina,
Here.
and Vidar is absent.
He let us know about that. So we do have a quorum. The approval of the agenda is next. The agenda was sent to you all, and you have it in front of you. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I emailed something out where I was going to maybe add a piece of new business.
Okay,
Sam and I were talking about perhaps some kind of identification for the tree commission, maybe hats. So when we go about our business, people will know who we are.
okay, we'll add that to new business,
Okay,
and you can lead that discussion, okay?
okay.
Can we remove the report on collaboration with Parks Commission? I need a little more time.
Pardon me?
I need a little more time on the number 2.
Okay,
Old business.
you can make that statement when we
Okay,
call
wait.
on you,
Okay,
okay?
yep.
Anything else? Any other discussion? Hearing none, I need a motion for approval of the agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay,
I'll second it.
and a second by Sarah. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. At this time, we'll hear from citizen and public comment. Please feel free to take the microphone. We'll give you 5 minutes of time to let us know your concerns and issues. Yes, ma'am, please come forward.
I just wanted to mention that I went down to the city garage and.
Can I just ask you,
Oh, what?
this is all being recorded and absolutely, we want to get your name and we want you to speak into the microphone because the Open Meetings Act requires that. So, okay? If you just tell us your name and everything, you're fine.
Okay. My name is Barbara Severson, and I have a tree in front of my house. It's not mine. It's on city property. And I noticed it had a brown bag type thing. I thought it was a plastic bag. But come to find out, it's a caterpillar tent, which is white, and brown bag, which is apparently worms inside. And I took pictures of it, and I took it down to the city garage. Yeah, that.
Okay. So,
I
thank
just-
you, first of all, thank you for letting us know about this. I'm not quite sure what action we can take, but we will pursue it and we'll be sure to get back in touch with you as to what we can do to mitigate this issue.
Okay, because pretty soon they're going to grow. They start out as worms, but then they turn out to be yellow moss. But they can flutter onto other trees and affect them too. And then about the last 3 years, I've complained about the branches going up around the pole, electric pole. And I went to City Hall, or City Garage. They said it was consumers, so I called consumers, and they actually came over and knocked on my door and told me that it's the city's responsibility. So they're still growing up there.
I'm sorry that you're getting the runaround. But I will tell you this, that, trimming around the electrical power lines is the responsibility and is done by consumers. Am I right, Jeff? So, we'll talk to consumers. If you could provide us, is this your address? Is it 164 West, is that Washington?
Washington Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a couple years ago now when consumer guy actually came to the door and knocked on the door, and I told him, so I just did what they were telling me to do.
Yep.
But there's,
Well, again, it's their responsibility, and in your concern, see, what they're looking at is it going to interfere with the electric distribution?
So, yeah, let me give you a little clarification if I can. Obviously, the tree trimming and removal is something that the Public Works does. The only time that we will not is if it's close to the power lines and creates a safety issue. Consumers looks at it as, is the tree endangering the electrical facilities? And so then they will trim and prune for their facilities. And so sometimes the desire, request, concern by citizens in the city don't align with consumers, and that may be where, where we're kind of fallen in that gray area. Wasn't aware of this issue until she came to my office last week and we talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, the consumer guy said something about the height. The branches or something was not high up like they would need it to be. But they're all around the pole anyways. They
Yeah.
kind of come and knock them down just like it knocked down half the other part of the tree.
Well, Ms. Stevenson, really appreciate that. And again, if you can stick around, we're going to talk a little bit about the grant we've just received. And one of the things we're doing with this grant is we are going to assess the health and do an inventory of every tree, certainly in your part of Manistee, on the north side for sure. And we'll be looking at all these trees from the standpoint of their health and their safety and their future. So that's one of the things you can look forward to from us.
Okay,
Okay?
all right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Hearing nothing, we'll move on now to approval of the minutes from the meeting of July 14th. Those minutes are in front of you. And again, I want to thank Katie for sending those out electronically to us ahead of time. I would suggest that if you see any changes or corrections that need to be made in those minutes, when Katie sends them out, please email her back so she can make those changes as quickly as possible, okay? So we need a motion to accept the minutes from July 14th.
I so move.
Nick Lucina moves. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay, Jerry Haas seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the minutes from July 14th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Again, Tyler, we're so happy to see you here today. If you could come forward and talk to us a little bit about how the grant's going and what's been happening since we last met.
Well, today is day one. So this is Martin Cullen with Great Lakes Urban Forestry, and they just got to town today and have started perusing the city trees. So I invited Martin to be here. He's had his crew kind of out today coming up with questions. So I'm hoping that maybe we can discuss his questions from his crew today, and if with Jeff here, maybe answer some of those for him. So I don't know how you guys want to proceed, if you want Martin to come up, introduce, or...
I'd love, yeah, Martin, again, you're welcome. Thank you. And
No problem. I'll start off by saying I'm a tree person, not really a people person. But, I worked with a lot of different contracts. Luckily, I think there's probably 11 or 12 field techs throughout the company. We have my hand-picked, like the best guys with me out here. So there's been, for starting off a new contract, this has been the least questions I've ever dealt with. The biggest one, what is the blue paint on the tree? We're just seeing these blue dots out there, that's it.
That's a
Consumers.
Yeah.
Either way, my guys know it doesn't really affect anything. We still assess the trees, but that's really just been out of curiosity. And then, unfortunately, we noticed that there is overhead lines are like ubiquitous across town. So we put in a small tree. That's our recommendation. It's not gospel. It's not written into stone. You guys can change the species and sizes. And outside of that, when we get to unmanaged areas, we will still keep our eyes open for risks. Sometimes, I mean, the average person looks this way. We are tree guys. We are looking up all the time. So if we see anything that's risky, even if it's out of the right of way, we'll still shoot that point in. Same thing if we see anything that's critically a risk, we will let, is it Jeff?
Yes.
Contact, yeah, we'll set it up and we'll let you know immediately, basically. Put that responsibility to you, get eyes on it, and you go from there, so. Yeah, but very nice town otherwise. A lot of maples,
Yes,
Pretty normal.
a lot of old maples.
Yeah.
So where are you and your crew from? Where's,
We're all from basically like the west side of Chicago, western burbs over there, so.
so you're up here, you're living in a tent somewhere, or what?
No, we stay in a hotel. I cook
Tree
out of the
fort.
back of my truck most of the time. I'm one of those guys. But yeah, I'm from Joliet. We got a guy from Winnetka, Tinley Park, all over. One of the guys is from Indiana, so.
How, it will not hold you to anything, but how long do you think this is gonna take you and your crew?
Couldn't tell you. I think we talked about two or three different estimates on tree counts. So it's roughly, we could do 175 to maybe 250 trees a day. So just let your imagination run wild. So
Okay.
I'm not the one that does those estimates. I just keep everybody busy and we keep on going, so.
And you're connected in with the city's GIS system?
Yeah. The GPS imagery is a little outdated, but the parcel data seems to be pretty darn accurate, so no complaints. And we have a lot of complaints. So. And thus far, all that GIS stuff is working very well. So.
Any other questions? Sam, welcome. I didn't get a chance to say hi.
Yeah, hi there, John.
Better late than never, Sam.
Yeah, of course.
Sam,
I'm here.
Been in. He started our initial work with tree inventory in the city. We feel this inventory and a risk assessment is a real important part of what we're trying to do. And obviously to help us build this urban forestry plan. So, Sam, did you have any specific questions or anything you'd like to know?
How many people do you have working with you? Because it's a
Me
big.
plus 4. This is a small job, we consider it. So.
Oh, yeah, we thought it was a big job.
Yeah, it is. I mean, every job is significant, but we're doing one in Joliet. Estimated tree count is 70,000 with 30,000 planting sites. So, put that in perspective. So.
Length of time? What are you thinking? No, you don't know.
I won't even.
You can't go there.
I know it's going to be well into a second week.
Oh, yeah.
So, and we might get so much done the first week that we only have 2 guys come out the second time and do the parks and stuff like that. But you just can't tell until you get out there. We're doing this guesstimation on tree counts from global imaging, stuff like that. So, we never know until we get out there.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having us out. I mean, we've been looking forward to this job. The last big beach city job we did was Michigan City, and I think I finished that at the end of January. So that was another 60,000 trees, working on the shoreline,
Yeah.
frozen, eyebrows and mustache and everything. So
Well, you picked the right time to be here.
yeah,
Sorry.
Anybody else got any questions?
There's still one component of the GIS that we're waiting on. I've got Spicer Group working on the right-of-way map
Okay.
that we talked about. It's basically an overlay within GIS that'll show the street width for each of the right-of-ways, and I've asked them to focus on the north side and Maxwell Town. So
Great.
hopefully we're going to get that soon.
Super. Okay, it sounds like we got things going in the right direction, right, Tyler?
Yep. So I just want to add in terms of the relationship with Great Lakes. So just on my way to the meeting, I saw one of their guys out with a vest speaking with a resident. So I just want to make sure like everybody knows, essentially that, Conservation District is a point of contact with Great Lakes Urban Forestry. As landowners reach out, they can obviously ask you guys questions. You should be, the ones answering questions about the grant and everything, but you can always feel free to send them right to me as well. We just don't want, Great Lakes Urban Forestry essentially spending 20% of their time answering questions for residents. So same thing, yeah. So they'll, when they talk to residents, if they've got questions, they'll send them to the tree commission or myself personally to answer those questions. And something me and Marty talked about too, might be a good idea if the commission wants to do an updated press release for immediate release, essentially that work has started on this grant, and just give everyone a reminder that work is now underway.
My suggestion is if we just came up with a sentence or two that announce that they're out working, if residents see them, we can do that on Facebook.
Yep.
And then typically the News Advocate will see that, do follow up, and then do a bigger article on that.
Yeah, yep, they do the same for us, so. sometimes they don't even contact us, they just steal our Facebook posts, so.
Yeah, if you just put a sentence or two together, we can get that posted tomorrow.
Yeah, I can,
Yes, but is there some source of background information?
I would think that if you could provide Sarah.
if you want, yep, I can prepare a paragraph for a Facebook post and then
Perfect.
shoot it over to you. I'm not sure if I have your email specifically. I probably do if I dig through, but if you want to send me an email.
Yeah, I can just, yeah, do I have your email?
I've
I
got
bet I
it
do.
right here, I can give you.
All right, very good. One thing I want to bring up to the commission as a whole, as they're doing these risk assessments on the trees, if they find a tree that is really a problem, do we feel that we need to be engaged in going through the paperwork of that, or should we just give the DPW the right to, they've got a high-risk tree that needs to be removed as soon as possible? Do we need to go through the paperwork of that, or shouldn't that just come, from Tyler, or whoever, right to DPW? Or do we need to?
If we see a safety hazard, we will take that down immediately.
Right.
We're not going to wait for
So
a
if
process.
they come to you with a high-risk tree
Yep,
that nobody's reported before,
we will cut it.
you take care of it, don't bother us.
Right.
Don't bother with us.
Yep.
Okay? Is that everybody okay
Yes.
with that?
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Very good. Okay, the next thing on the agenda, sub A, is welcome and introduction of the Maxwell Town Citizens Advisory Group. Are you folks here with that? Would you? Would you mind coming up and just introducing yourselves, both of you, or?
Hello.
Hi.
Shane asked if we would be involved in this, because my husband is the owner of Herbert Funeral Home, Paul Kabaki, and I'm his wife, Julie. And we don't live in Maxwell Town, but his business is in Maxwell Town.
Okay.
We live in the city of Manistee, so if you want to kick us off for that reason, you can do that, but no, but so we said we would assist whatever way we could. We're both still working full-time, but, so we're.
That's wonderful. And what is your business?
Mine is Herbert Funeral Home. I also own a home down in Maxwell Town. So, yeah, we're
Well-
just concerned about the area. Been there, working with Charles Herbert for over 52 years myself, so born and raised here in town, so.
Wonderful. Well, this is exactly what we're hoping for with the Citizens Advisory Group. And I believe there are 4 of you on the group that have stepped forward and said that they would be willing to do this. This is an important part of the overall grant that we've received. And what we want to do is we want to get you folks just engaged with your community, with your neighborhood, and find out where, we can help. We are going to have the opportunity to plant some new trees in Maxwell Town because of this grant. So rather than us sitting up here in our, our ivory palace figuring out where to go, we want input from the community, from the neighborhood. We'll have a similar Citizens Advisory Group from North Side. Okay, so there's the North Side and the Maxwell Town are where we're focusing. And right now, the first thing that you just heard, we're doing the inventory and risk assessment on all of the trees that are on city property. And from that, we will determine what trees have to be removed, that are high risk right now, or that, we're gonna have to remove in the next couple of years, those kind of things. And our intent is to try to replace every tree we remove with 2 new trees. Okay? Plus, we know that we've got areas, especially in Maxwell Town, there's no trees, that could use some cover. So I think that your input and the input of your neighbors and friends is going to be the most important thing. And we don't want you to feel that you're obligated to come to every one of these meetings. You're welcome to, you know, as you find things out, as people are talking to you, as they give you feedback, let us know. You know, if there's an area that you, hey, we've never had anything done here, we really feel is important, and bring it to our attention so we can work towards that. We can't absolutely promise everything, you know, but we'll work with you and your neighbors and friends to do the right thing. So I did get, I heard from McKenna Bramble, young woman there, and then there's two others. I think you two are on it, and then there's two other folks. So again, I just hope you get together over a cup of coffee or an adult beverage or whatever the heck, and, you know, have those kind of discussions on your own. If you want to involve us, anybody on that sits up here, we're open. All you have to do is invite us, okay? We can't make any decisions unless it's a public meeting like this, but we can certainly listen. And that's really what we hope to do with your advisory group. Are there any questions from the commission? Do you have questions of us?
Disclose the amount of the grant, have you, or can you, or
Well,
don't you want
the
to?
amount of money is, we have over $200,000 that's been allocated. 10% of that is going to administration, and that's helping to pay Tyler's, for Tyler's expertise, and that the Conservation District is, they're the ones that are administering this. So we'll have, again, in the neighborhood of 200,000, but a significant portion of that is being allocated to the inventory, to the risk assessment, and also we're going to have a comprehensive urban forest management plan for the city come out of this. So I would say again, our goal is to replace every tree we remove with two, and try to find areas in Maxwell Town, north side, that need trees.
Okay.
Okay? The other place we'll need your help is when we do put those trees in, okay? We really are asking the property owner that's adjacent to that new tree, there'll be water bags, these green bags that you see on the trees that are staked out, and filling those every so often, especially for the first 2 years, that helps that tree survive. And we've got a pretty good survival rate right now, I think, guys. You know, the trees will be planted, the property owners won't have to do anything. They don't have to dig a hole, they don't have to do anything. But we would appreciate them putting water in the bags, you know, on a regular basis.
Okay.
That's essentially it. So,
We'll do our best.
Yeah, we'll work.
well, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. The Consumers Energy Grant, again, Maxwell Town, you'd be happy to hear. We just were awarded a grant last week. We'll be putting more trees in on 8th Street. And this is 8th Street right as it comes off of 31, going into Maxwell Town. And we've got some pictures here of you want to share that with them? I think you might be interested in this. I wish Vitor Lerum were here. Vitor is our commission member that's responsible and does a great job of putting the grants together. And so again, we've got 15 trees that are going to be planted along 8th Street, hopefully in the next couple of months. Jeff, right? What's your plan there?
The application had a completion date of September 1st, so we need to get advertising and rolling right along.
They give us the money on August 1st, and then they want it all done that quick?
That's the way it was filled out.
That's life.
That's the way the grant application was filled out.
Well, I guess maybe we'll need some coaching in the future for that. Okay?
Wait a minute, it's supposed to be all completed by September?
I'm sorry, I misstated that. That was the starting date.
Oh,
Completion is October 15th, so
that's better.
Thank you.
Okay.
that's better.
All right, but that still puts you
We got to start real soon. What I need to do is advertise it for contractor, have council award the contract, and then give the contractor the opportunity to order the trees, plant them, and by October 15th.
John, that's only 15 trees, so that should be very doable in that time frame he's talking about, I think.
Let's hope. I mean, like,
Yeah, and
Last year was a jump through.
the longest,
You're right.
the grant requires that they be completed on all expenditures, and we did take the pictures and turn it back in by November 8th, so last year they gave us a week extension on that.
and again, the delays come into, you know, it's not like you and me reaching into our checkbook. We gotta get approval from the city, we gotta get bids, you know. But again, this is great. I mean, if anything we can do to get 15 trees, and the average cost to the city of a tree is in the neighborhood of $500 now. You know, so you're looking at, you know, at least $7,500 worth of benefit to the city. Okay, any questions on that? Again, all credit goes to Vitor here, and he's done a good job, as you can see from the pictures and the analytics, so. All right, a third thing that we've added to the agenda is some type of identification to identify us as being members of the tree commission. And I really appreciate this, Jerry, because when I go knocking on people's doors, you know, they're thinking I'm there trying to sell them something, but.
Okay, so Sam and I have been talking about this before, and we think it might be just as simple as a hat. You know, green hat with white lettering on it saying Manistee Tree Commission or something like that, or whatever somebody else thinks that might work better. But I think a hat is very simple and so on. Because a lot of times you go up to the door and you have to try to identify yourself, but with a hat or something like that, it makes it much easier. And I don't know what it would cost and so on, but if we want to kick into the pot and make a pot ourselves to buy the hats, I'll kick in $50.
So, would you put that in the form of a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that the tree commission purchase hats to help identification of members as they go around and conduct their business.
Okay, before we take a second on that, would you consider modifying that motion, because we don't have any money in the budget.
Okay, I'll modify the motion by saying that I'm gonna say I will donate $50, and if the rest of the staff will donate some money, or the rest of the commission, I'm
To
sure-
cover the cost for the hats.
To cover the cost for the hats, I'm sure we can get moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
I'm guessing a decent hat shouldn't cost more than $10 a piece.
Okay.
With the lettering and so on from the company in town here.
So, the motion should say that we would solicit donations for the hats from the members of the commission.
I think that type of expenditure could be covered under my operating budget.
You think so?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that makes it, don't forget that amendment to the motion. Okay, so the motion is that we purchase hats for every member of the tree commission.
Okay, so in between, I'll see if I can get down to that place to see if we can get some kind of,
I'll go with you.
okay, something to look at there, so that the next time we come here, we'll have something to look at besides, yes, this is what we want.
All right. Is that okay to do that, buy it locally? You don't need bids or anything for that?
Well, I've got limitations, but when you get the information together, I'd like to work with you on the graphics to make it sure it's consistent,
Oh,
Thank you.
okay, we can.
and then bring the proposal to me, please.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so that motion's on the floor. Is there a second to that motion?
Right here.
Sam? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next thing on old business is an update on the watering bag instruction brochure. Sarah, how's that going? Has that been accomplished?
That's been accomplished and disseminated, and my neighbor even complained about already that the city sent him a letter saying he had to water his own tree. I don't know how he could have thought otherwise, but I guess it's a good thing we sent the letter out.
Okay. So I'm sure it didn't say that you had to.
No,
You know.
but it just gave instructions for it, and it, you know, it made clear that
You sent those
you
out.
should.
It made clear the responsibility lies with that adjacent homeowner, right?
Yes, yeah, and how to upcycle bags, you know, and that it would take about 2 years for it to really get established, and any questions, contact Katie.
Wonderful. So Katie, you've got that in your, in a file folder somewhere that can go out as we, you know, get new trees planted in the future and all that? Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Sarah.
Welcome.
David, you say that you haven't had a chance to collaborate with the Parks Commission?
No, there's just nothing new to report. So I'll need a little more time to get something together to actually say, hey, this is what they want to do, this is what we should do. Right now, all I still have is that they just want to be involved. And last meeting, we found out that there's a substantial opportunity to have whatever we want, right, from the state, that they'll finance whatever we want to do, pretty much.
Yeah, the MDOT has said that they would fund whatever trees that we wanted to plant, so. The next Parks Commission meeting is a week from Thursday, here at 5:30. But yeah, they're kind of just waiting for,
Yeah.
I think, the Tree Commission to meet with them.
Head of the Parks Commission.
The chair is Karen Mao.
Karen Mao.
We can get you her email
I
address and
wouldn't mind
stuff.
having hers, yeah, I'm not having an easy time getting a hold of the person I was.
Okay.
I don't know if they're just busy this summer or,
And I've got a meeting with her tomorrow afternoon, so I'd be happy to just exchange your contact information.
thank you.
One thing I noticed today, that they're doing, that the Parks Commission, I don't know, or the DPW has done, there's a nice sign up right across from the North Channel Brewing about the work that's going on.
3 of them.
There's 3 signs.
Yeah.
This is something that when we walked that last fall, that property, we said, boy, it's important to let the public know what's going on because stuff's being ripped out of there and all this, and I think that's a really good idea.
Well, my concern was that there's some dangerous sections in there that are gonna get upgraded, so we've got keep out, we've got, and it kind of has it's negative for a park, you know, at the entrances, so we thought, let's put a Pardon Our Progress sign up, you know, at the access point so that people realize that new stuff is coming, so.
Well, it's a smart PR move, you know, really done well. Okay, at this time, let's start with comments. Sarah, I'm gonna start on your end. You got anything you want to share with us?
I do not.
Okay, Nick? Nothing from Nick? Jerry?
Nothing for me.
Sam?
Well, it's pretty exciting because when we're talking about this grant and all these trees going in, the surveys being done, from where we started a few years ago, this has really grown. So it's pretty exciting for the Tree Commission. It's a big project. And, you know, we're gonna have trees in areas that, you know, that need to have some canopy, and we're gonna get some. And that's exciting. Glad to see it.
Absolutely. David?
I don't know, it's kind of a question on the forms when we get them to, is this the right time and place to talk about that?
Sure, that's why we're.
I'm just curious if we're doing it right. At the bottom, when we get it, it says Tree Commission, but then there's also a spot for the DPW. So it just, when I'm doing these and then I give it back, with that, it just feels like something, is it backwards? Are we doing it backwards or?
Well, again, the request comes in to the DPW, and Katie forwards it typically to me. I then task each of you to just go out and look at it and talk to the property owner.
Okay.
You can make a direct contact with the property owner so they know that their request is being acted on. That's the most important thing. Secondly, you know, your assessment of the situation, you know, is basically supposed to be based on, number one, is it a safety hazard? Okay, potential safety hazard. Number two, to life and property. Okay, that's
Right.
So
then after.
the health of the tree is, you know, as best as we are not arborists. You probably are the most, you know, experienced in assessing a tree. But that's one of the things that I'm hoping we're going to get, Tyler, too, is the additional training from the standpoint through the grant, you know.
What to look for.
is, you know, how to do a better job of assessing that.
So-
But bottom line is, your assessment then, and you just fill that out, say yes or no.
And then after that, that's like
And then
the,
it goes back to Katie, and then it goes to the DPW for their, you know, they're the
Once-
ones that are assigning the work.
Once your evaluations come back, if it's a safety hazard, it's something that we'll act on immediately. If it's a trim or remove approval, we put it in a file and we wait till fall,
okay,
late fall,
okay,
just November, December, usually December. And we try to finish those up by March. So we want to do it when the leaves are off, when we've got personnel available. And so we honestly try to do it in between snow plowing. And then oftentimes the lists are big and they'll carry further into the spring, but that's when we do it. And then about this time of year, we'll get bids on stump grinding, and so we'll come back and all the trees that have been cut in the previous year, we'll grind the stumps out and restore the lawn area with, you know, topsoil and reseed it. But that's the process.
okay. Yeah, just that field above where I filled out, it just made me wonder if it was backwards or if you guys were supposed to do it first. But if we're doing it right, then I guess there's no problem then.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, we'll, if we don't understand, or if our crew sees something it needs to be a little more extreme, or we, you know, it's approved for a trim, but when we start trimming it, we realize it's hollowed out and it's, you know, then we'll reach back out to you and get clarification, or just verify what the intent is, so.
Okay, thank you.
That's why your name is on it, you know, as the approver.
Got it.
Again, you're doing it right. I think the most important thing for us to do is make sure we contact the property owner, the person who made the request. And oftentimes you can't do that by knocking on the door, but a phone call, and at very least an email back to them saying, I was there, I assessed it this way, that type of thing.
Okay.
That just keeps us all, you know, out of trouble. Okay, other than that, the only other thing I want to say is driving around the town, looking at these new trees that have been put in, they're beautiful. They really are good stock. And they're, you know, they look like they're being taken care of. So we need to continue with it. That contractor did a hell of a job, in my opinion. All right, if there's nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I got one other
Oh,
thing.
absolutely, Tyler.
And I can take care of it unless one of you guys wants to. But Martin did also ask that somebody contact the police department and let them know what's going on, because they will get calls about people wandering around looking at trees around their house. So.
If you send me that 1 or 2 sentence blurb, I will make sure that gets posted and the police chief gets that to disseminate.
Okay.
That'd be great, thank you.
And then I had just one brief update. The Tree of Heaven that we contracted have treated on Fort Street. The forester basically said once they inject the tree, it'll leaf out and then it will brown and the leaves will fall. It will try to use up all its energy reserves to try to leaf out again. We're in the brown stage. I haven't looked at it closely today, but it looks like that's being effective. And then we also, I think I already reported, but we had treated the stuff that was in our compost piles, and that was eradicated, and we were approved to go ahead and mix that and continue on with the composting operation. And then surrounding the composting site on the city's 40 acres, there's dozens and dozens of those trees. So that was treated with a different, it's a spray application that then gets absorbed by the root system. So we'll just evaluate where that comes, but could be a lot of work out there too in the future. And then we've noticed, now that we're aware of it, you start to see that tree species everywhere. So each time I see them, we had one on the Riverwalk, we had one in the park. We're just having those treated and injected and trying to eradicate them.
I just might add that looking at some of the background and history on these trees were brought over from Europe and China back in 1792 in that time frame. So they've been around for a couple hundred years, working against us.
A lot of our invasive species were planted on purpose.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely, absolutely. But they were all brought over for a purpose. There's a purpose got away from us most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay? If there's nothing else then?
This
Yes.
woman in the back has a
Question.
question.
Oh, please.
I have a question. It doesn't pertain, well, it could, because you were talking about it. I have an empty lot next to my house that had a tree there, or a house, they tore the house down, and eventually they're gonna build. Well, they've got this old tree on Short Street, and it's supposedly on city property, suppose I better come up here. It's a heaven tree.
Tree of Heaven?
Yeah, well, I call it tree of hell. But they went around the base of it and sprayed stuff in it. And the leaves are starting to come off. Well, then they came about a month later and sprayed the whole yard. I had them spray in front of my house because the shoots are coming up. Now, the people that used to live in that house, some of them were that tall. Well, the guy that bought the property went to the city said it was their problem. He said no, because it's on city property, but anyway. But what I have a thing about is they did put holes in the bottom of the tree and they squirted stuff in there. Now the roots are popping up in my yard and the neighbor's yard. He doesn't know it yet, but he's got them, they're about this tall in his front yard. And now the roots are going under the ground across the street. And if you don't pull them up, you're gonna have trees all over. And they stink to high heaven, those trees. But is there anything that the city can spray? Or I know that these people that own the property had it sprayed.
So the update I just gave was that tree at Fifth Avenue and Short Street.
Is that it?
So when the gentleman actually filled out a tree removal request from the tree commission, the tree commission discovered that it was a tree of heaven, which is an invasive species. So they couldn't basically tell us to cut it down. And so what the city did was contracted to have a licensed forester inject that tree. And once it dies, then we'll cut that tree down and remove it. If there's other offspring of that tree that have grown up in the surrounding neighborhood,
Every day I go
once
out
it's
and pull
outside
them
of the
up.
city right of way, then we can't expend city funds on that. But I think that treatment on that tree was less than $200 for that huge tree.
Well, I know they came twice. And the last time they came and they sprayed. I don't know what they sprayed, but I asked them if they'd spray right up by the sidewalk in the road. Well, they did, but they're still growing, and they're still growing in that yard, and they're still growing in the neighbor's yard and across the street. So, I don't know, is there anything, well, you probably can't do anything about it.
Not on the private property. But we contracted with James Scarlatta.
Yeah.
He's a local guy, and he's very knowledgeable and very reasonable.
But he sprayed, and they're still coming. Really, what he's using is not strong. But the vacant lot next door, I noticed, doesn't have those. The other people, when they lived there, they got evicted, and they didn't want to mow the grass, but the trees got this tall. It was just like a forest when you drove. But they just keep growing. And I figure, well, gee, the roots are gonna die pretty soon, you'd think so, with all the stuff that's shot in the tree. But,
Yeah, I'm not a forester, but the way that Mr. Scarlatta explained it to me is we injected the large tree in the right-of-way, and we injected in the spring. So the tree was moving as it got warm and cold in the evenings and during the days. It was moving sap up and down that tree. So the poison that was injected into that tree is being moved up and down. It gets down into the root system, it goes up into the foliage. And so that's a much quicker and effective way of treating or killing those. The spray has to be absorbed by the root system, and then it has to go up into the tree. And so this time of year, there's not as much of that movement, and I believe that takes longer. And that's the way that they treated it out at our compost yard.
go out and pull those bloody things out of the ground.
So I'll add to that. So tree of heaven, one of the reasons it's a problem is it's so hard to control. So those small trees that you're seeing are not like individual offspring, most likely. Those are what are called root suckers. So they are suckering off that main large tree. So pulling them isn't likely going to do anything. because that tree, if it has enough juice left, is just gonna send out more shoots.
So it's just gonna be shooting all over
Chemical,
Fifth Avenue.
chemical treatment is the best method. Sometimes there is a lag there. But Tree of Heaven is one that it's especially hard to control because it essentially has a stress response hormone within the tree, which is why Jim did not want to cut the big tree down. Because when you cut that tree and sever those ties, it releases that hormone and essentially causes that tree to reproduce prolifically from the root system.
Oh,
So
maybe-
that, the idea there is to treat with the injection, let that tree die off, kill as much of the root system as you can, and then follow up with any remaining suckers after that tree system is dead. The problem with even the best herbicides is it is sometimes very difficult for them to travel as far as they need to reach those ends of those root systems. So if it's gotten beyond the city property and onto private property, that's where you have to reach out
No,
to
it
Jim.
all seems to be right by the road, between the road and the sidewalk.
Okay, so that would be something that Jeff and Jim are following up.
Well, I wouldn't have minded it, but when I looked across the road before I came here, I go, oh my God, they're this tall. Nobody's living in that house. So they're just gonna keep growing and growing and growing, unless I go pull them.
Yeah, ideally, it takes time for that herbicide to work. Ideally, they'll die. If they don't, they might require a follow-up treatment.
Well, I've lived in that house for 30-some years, and the last 2 years, it just seems like we're getting more and more and more. So, I just wanted to holler at somebody. You were talking about doing that to the tree, and I thought, well, I gotta speak up.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the tree you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It does, well, like I say, the leaves are not, they're falling off, but
Yeah, and that tree may use up all its energy to try to leaf back out again, even this year. But Mr. Scarlett has suggested that
back again and put more poison in it.
no, he believes that that tree will be dead this fall, and we can take it down this fall.
All right. No, well, it is getting a little paler, it's kind of gray looking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's got anything to do with it when it starts to die or not.
I don't know.
Anyway, I spoke my piece.
Well, thank you. And again, hopefully one of the results of our inventory and risk assessment on all the trees, we'll know where these bad species are.
Well, I do, the tree in front of our house, we do have quite a few branches laying on the wires.
Yeah.
When they tore the house down 2 years ago in that vacant lot, the backhoe got hooked on a branch and you could hear it cracking. But it hasn't fell off yet. The branch is still there, but yeah, really, when they pull that house down and the wires, evidently they got caught on the wires that were on the other side of the tree. And the tree just cracked, but like I say, it doesn't fell, so. Wow.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
Okay, if there's no other business before us, if we have a motion to adjourn, please.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ha, seconded by? Who? Somebody speak up.
Sam.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.